everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Baiduri podcast. Now, first comes love, then comes a wedding proposal, then the wedding planning begins. But where do we start first? Well, as we all know, a wedding is one of our biggest milestones, and it's that only time, or one of the only times in our lives, where we get to go all out. But the question is, do we keep it intimate or do we go really, really big with our celebrations? Now, to help us navigate all of that today, we have three experts in their fields. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our guests for today's episode of our podcast, focusing on weddings, the wedding industry, and what we need to do to ensure that we are planning the right way, I suppose. So, here are our guests for today. We have Ina, the owner of Wedding Loca. Hello, Ina.
Hello, Emily.
And thank you so much for providing the venue for today's podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to her right, we have Najiba, who is behind My Lean Budget on Instagram.
Hi, I'm good.
And finally, to our far right, we have Muaz, who is a, let's say, very popular makeup artist.
Am I really?
Yes, you are. And the man behind Dragons and Pixie Dust.
Hi.
So welcome to all of our guests.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. And of course, lots of people go through this. It's like a disease. It's not a wedding. Very big event. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years to plan. So we're going to go into a deep dive into planning a wedding and what people are following, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. So before we get the ball rolling, can everyone tell me, how did you get your start in the specific industries that you're in? Ina, you want to start?
Okay. It started when I was in my final year in university. I don't really remember. It was in 2014. So dia berapa ingat lah tahun berapa at that time. I was one of those yang probably sama dengan the generation right now who are trying to find side hustle. So I talked to my mom. Cakap, Ibu, mau cari duit tapi dah mau minta duit. So she suggested options lah, macam you want to continue doing business or you want to go to this job that she's actually dreaming of me being in that job. But no, I didn't jump into that. I look at the opportunity that that she gave me in her business. So it's actually a business that she did manage actually, because long time ago when she had the business, she had another person managing it. So at that time, ada orang manage. So she offered me untuk manage. So I said, oh, it should be easy. I mean, like ramai orang Brunei kan kahwin. Yeah, ramai orang Brunei kan kahwin, and it should be easy, yeah. So I actually jumped into it.
So was it easy then?
No.
No?
Definitely not. There are a lot of things that I need to get figured out because it's actually started as kedai jahit saja. Okay, if you know di Serusuk dulu ada Threads boutique and tailoring. That was actually my mom's. It's actually kedai jahit saja, which she expanded to a bridal boutique yang bertinggalkan almost like 8 years. So the trend at that time was a very huge 360 shift lah masa tu. So if you see baju laki-lakinya pun macam bermanik-manik masa, you know, like even masa kalau orang datang at that time, they were like, baju laki-laki kata. Sebab tu dia even, you know, it's that classic.
Like very 80s, 70s.
It was
Hey,
that
I
classic.
hear they're making a comeback.
Yeah.
They are? Oh, we haven't heard.
You
Don't
never
get
know.
rid of them.
We're gonna make a comeback too.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, there was a very 360 shift lah at that time with the trend and whatnot. So that's why it was quite tough to get the trend at that time on track.
Okay.
But yeah, it got
It all worked out.
easier.
It got easier and it all worked out, and here we are at Wedding Loca.
Yes.
So thank you very much for sharing, you know, how you started. I'm gonna throw the ball over to the other side to Muaz, okay? So Muaz, tell me, how did you start with makeup?
I have two origin stories.
Okay.
One is when I started with makeup, and the other one is when I started with wedding makeup. I started with makeup a long time ago. I used to be on TV, and I just need it for myself, just to make sure I look good on TV. And then I was doing that for several years, and I started Dragons and Pixie Dust, the Instagram profile, in 2014. Initially, it was supposed to be like a platform for me to just showcase my art, because I've always said I'm an artist first and a makeup artist second. So I love special effects works, and those are the things that I'm more passionate about, and more editorial kind of makeup. So during the first year that I started in 2014, that was what I was wanting to churn out, like put out all those special effects or editorial work. And then throughout the entire year, I was rejecting bridal requests. Like people were messaging me, asking me like, "Oh, can I have your bridal rates?" And I'm like, "What word did you see?" I was posting
The special effects.
yeah, I was posting zombies and like aliens. Like, what did you want to look like for your wedding that you want to hire me? Because at that point, I think like for beauty makeup, I just put like one or two, and it's like very few in between. But yeah, I was rejecting because it's a lot of pressure also doing wedding makeup, because like you're responsible to make a bride look their best at their big day. That's a whole lot of pressure on one person. So like to me, I didn't want to deal with that pressure. And then 2015 came, my friends started getting married. So they kind of forced me into the wedding
You
makeup.
volunteered.
No, they forced me. It was like, you're doing my makeup, I don't care. So no, okay, fine. So I started doing that. So that's when I started doing bridal. So 2015, 10 years since.
Well, 10 years later, you're
Yeah.
probably, if not the most sought after makeup artist for weddings.
I guess.
I mean, you completely
maybe.
booked. Like, you're booked for the whole year from the beginning of the year.
Wow.
Until next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
you-
Okay.
It depends. Like if it was like pre-COVID time, by next year it's like already half the year is already fully booked. But maybe we'll discuss things like what happened after COVID a little bit later.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right, now moving on to Najiba. Tell us, how did you get into trying to educate people on budgeting?
Okay, so I started with blogging. So I started blogging maybe 2015, and I was just posting about updates on my net worth, so your assets minus your liabilities. And then I slowly kind of moved to Instagram, because I think I caught the wave where people in America was also sharing their net worths, and then they were doing it on Instagram. And I think there was a shift also for people to move to Instagram. So from Facebook, it was moving to Instagram. So I followed that trend, and I caught the wave. So I was one of the first Bruneians to kind of share financial updates like that. Yeah. So I think I was also trying to find my tribe, because not a lot of people talk about finances.
That's true.
So I was trying to kind of find the community that also was interested in finances. So slowly it grew, and then and now we have quite a few Instagram, finance Instagrams sharing their financial updates also.
That's right, and they're all trying to increase financial literacy in Brunei. We're all trying to help each other. Try not get scammed, and,
Yes.
and also find out what we're doing right and doing wrong, especially with regards to our finances.
Yes.
So thank you very much to all three of you for sharing with us your journeys. And now we're going to jump into some hard questions. So Moaz talked about COVID earlier on.
Yeah.
Now weddings, I would say 10 years ago, weddings were always huge.
Yeah.
Big weddings always at home. We'll have a tent, we'll have chairs. But we find that the trend has slowly changed. And since COVID, we've gone from huge weddings, and everyone was okay with smaller weddings. And has that trend stayed on, or are we going back to the big weddings?
With Wedding Loka, we can see based on kami punya customer base, they're mostly hall wedding. They prefer to do the one-day event, the nikah sanding.
And now, having said that, do you think people are spending a little bit more because they're using, another place, another venue? It's not at home.
I think there was a trend where I got married, for context, in 2008. And at that time, not a lot of people got married in masjids. Usually it was at home. But I think now it's yeah, and then we do have 2-in-1, lagi 3-in-1. So I think actually it's getting cheaper. Like it caters to all budgets now. It used to be like it had to be big, and especially if you're the first chuchu,
Very big.
Yeah, very big, because everyone's excited because it's the first wedding.
Now, over to Muaz. Since you're always on location when it comes to weddings, you are there when the action is happening. Have you noticed any differences from pre-COVID and now?
Yeah, the nikah sanding part, that's very apparent. That's very apparent. Because like pre-COVID time, it's always like all the individuals events. So that would like add more costs here.
whole
right?
week.
Yes.
Right? And then like sometimes more than a week, sometimes like 2 whole weeks of just
Yes.
events.
True.
And then like
I got that one.
Yeah, so many weddings post COVID. There's like I would say like out of 5 clients, 3 would be nikah sanding. And then a lot of times those who have nikah sanding, that's the only event they have. They don't even do berbedak. I feel I'm seeing less and less berbedak events nowadays. So people just jump into the nikah sanding. So like I guess they're still they still like the idea of like kind of like an intimate like event, but slightly bigger than it was from COVID. Yeah.
Even the trend now, even having berbedak is also a trend that they're doing it at the hall.
Yeah.
Like, so nikah sanding terus berbedak di dewan.
Oh,
Like that. Yeah.
all of it in one place.
Yeah.
I
On
have
the
had
same day?
events
Yeah.
on the same day. It's kind of crazy.
Whoa.
It's hectic for me.
For you, for the outfit and the
Yes.
makeup, that's a lot of change.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and then we have the financial planning of all of this. Is that better? Everything in one place?
Yeah, of course you will save money because it's not like 3 different events. Or I remember during my time, yes, 2008, we did the whole, it was like mulih 3 hari, there was badak mandi, and then there was also, belan-belan, yes. And then at night as well, you would host your like relatives and they would do bingo nights,
It's their party.
Yes.
But I do wonder though, even with the wedding that you had over a long period of time, the cost of it, were you covering the cost or were family members chipping in? And is that something that we see today? Is
Yes.
the bride and groom paying for everything or the families jumping in?
I think there's a lot of assumptions. So I think communication is key because maybe you think that this should be covered by your parents, and then who gets the belanja hangus and then who gets the, because traditionally in Malay culture, people give sedekah. So the sedekah too belongs to siapa. These things I think need to be, communicated early on because, it used to be parents would pay for the wedding. So obviously when people sedekah, that money probably belongs to the parents because the parents forked out everything for the wedding. But now we see a trend where it's not parents paying for the wedding. It's usually them themselves paying for their own wedding. So
Kind of makes sense.
yes, yes. But like it was because I think maybe for daughters, like if they didn't have a job, if they had a job, then probably they would be
Able to chip in.
yeah.
And also, I do feel that if you're taking money from family members, do you feel that they have a right to give their opinion about how your wedding is supposed to be?
Yeah, there is kind of that, isn't it? Like if they pay for it, like they get a say in. It's a tricky subject.
And how do you feel in your business? Do you find that, you have family members coming in and sharing their ideas of what they feel the bride or groom should look like on the day?
I think it's a very common situation when what we have here in Wedding Loka. That's why, well, not for all, but for some brides and grooms, they will actually come to Kaina. I'm known the Wedding Loka as Kaina. So they will actually say like, Kaina, can you talk to my parents?
Can you be the middle person?
Yes, exactly. Because some parents that they have imagination sudah macam mana they want the daughter, the son to look like during the wedding. But that's not what the bride and groom want.
Yeah.
Yes, I would actually negotiate with the parents on what's actually suitable for their theme, for their pelaminan, and then what they would voice out what they want for their daughter, yes, or children, yes.
So let's talk about trends, because I think trends and costs are very relative. You know, if we're in a period where everything is fresh flowers, then obviously it's going to be really expensive. So how do you find the changing trends in weddings? Perhaps Moaz can start with this one.
With bookings in general, talking from a makeup artist point of view, with bookings in general, there's a shift to like now people like to book like a little bit closer to their date. Ever
last
since
minute.
ever since COVID started, because pre-COVID and like I was talking earlier, like how like bookings are, like pre-COVID times, like by now, like I would be booked up until like June next year. But and people normally start booking like the first half of the next year within like the first 2 months of the year before. So like say like by January, February of this year, I'm booked all the way to like June next year. Nowadays, like I've had bookings like the month before, or like the other day I have a booking like a week before.
Oh my
Close.
gosh.
That's quite close.
That's a little. That's
Cutting it
some,
close.
some a little bit way too close, but like yeah, like you see this pattern emerging after COVID. So like about a month or just 2 months before their wedding, even like within this year alone, I'm still getting clients for
This
like
month.
towards the later end of the year, which is normally not the case like previously. So pattern wise, like I'm not sure about the others. Like for events, I don't for event halls, I don't think that will
No.
that will work.
You need to
But
book
yeah,
early.
but for makeup artists, I see a trend of people booking a little bit like closer to their event date. I'm not sure what's the reasoning behind it. Maybe they're still trying like just hunting
They're-
for their
they're budgeting,
favorite
budgeting.
MUAs, or like they're like they're paying everything first and wanting to see how their budget works towards the end. That's how they fit in a makeup artist probably. Because at the end of the day, like hiring a makeup artist is more of a luxury than it is like a requirement. Don't hate me for that statement. That might be a controversial statement, but yeah, like that's the trend that I see. Like when people booking MUAs nowadays.
Okay. So now can you tell me, let's talk about budgeting.
Okay.
And how much do weddings cost these days? For me at least, long time ago, 13 years ago now, my budget was like $7,000 to get.
Wow.
We didn't have a lot of money. We were poor. We didn't have a lot of money, and we were scraping by. So I had about $7,000 or $8,000 saved. So we did what we could.
Wow.
We DIY'd a lot of the things. The favors were DIY. We sewed it. Even our decoration was not even decoration. It was so simple. It was like a birthday party. But for us, in a Chinese wedding at least, the guests will give you ang pao in the end. So a lot of that actually covered the cost. And what I found was that I skipped a lot of things. We didn't have a photographer. We didn't have a videographer. I didn't have anyone doing my hair. So my cousin stepped in and did my hair for me. I had a makeup artist who was kind enough to, give me a reduced rate. The dress was cheap. So that was my wedding.
Yeah.
And, 13 years later, still happily married. And we have some great photos, but not a lot. How about these days? Let's talk about weddings these days. What does it cost now? I would assume it's expensive. How are outfits? How much are you? You're giggling at me. Why?
No. I think it's very interesting. Like the trend, I wouldn't say it's a trend, but some people actually opt for DIY wedding because like Amy said, it's cheap. It's cheaper that way. I would say that comfortable wedding, if you were inviting like 1,000 guests, which
House.
kan kita ni punya family, banyaknya
Yes.
pasar kan.
And you don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah. Yes, big family. So I would say the comfortable range would be 15K at least. But I did an 18K, which caters a nikah sanding at a big hall, 1,500 guests, with berbedak for both sides at home. 200 to 300 guests at least at home. They did their nikah di masjid. So that was an 18K budget. Yeah.
And that is on a, we're being quite liberal on the pricing there.
But it covers the nikah sanding, berbedak for both family at home. It's like a
good.
full event yang
And of course, we have a lot of
Yeah.
ceremonies.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
How
good.
about yourself when it comes to
Personally, in 2008, I spent 60K on my wedding. So that was like,
3 times your budget?
yeah. My parents were abroad, so I couldn't do the besanding at home. So it had to be at a polo club. It was because I really wanted the date. And that was the only pending hall available ka, atau venue available. So I wanted to go Rizkun, tapi Rizkun for that date was already fully booked. So that was like the only choice lah.
What was the date?
20th April 2008 kala. Yes. 20th, I don't know, is there something significant about 20th April? I'm not sure. But anyway, so it was fully booked sana. So, and then of course, because I was the first chuchu, so it was like the whole 9 yards. So it must have been like 1 to 2 weeks kind of event, you know. Badak, laki side, bini punya side, and badak mandi. That's different, right? Badak mandi is different. Then ambil-ambilan. Yes, that's
You cover
why,
the whole
yeah,
event.
they covered the
Yeah.
whole event.
So was, let's talk makeup and the services that you provide. What is the range that we're looking at?
Makeup artist range, I guess depends on kind of like the seniority of makeup artists. And there's a lot of makeup artists in Brunei nowadays, especially post COVID. I feel like people spend a lot of time at home watching YouTube and how to become a makeup artist. So like there's been a boom of makeup artists post COVID. So like the choices is like it's there. The new ones up until the senior ones. So like I could say kind of like a good range would be like around 150 to like maybe 500 to 600 per event. My controversial take on this is like, if you wanted to go even cheaper with a makeup artist, you can just not hire makeup artists.
Yeah, you
because
can do it yourself.
yeah, you can do it yourself. Like a lot of people during COVID like actually learned to do their own makeup. Well, most of them actually had to. I know a few people who actually did do their own faces, and then how people save money that way is like, so they have all these like events lined up. They would only hire a makeup artist for their main event, and then the other event they just save and just do their own makeup, or get like their cousins who know
Yes.
how to do their own makeup. For those who decided to do their own makeup, now a trend that started like kind of post COVID is hiring stylists.
Oh.
We used to not have stylists before. Like makeup artists used to do everything. Like we would like do the makeup and style the hijab, and now there's quite a number of like stylists that people hire to do like the draping, they say. So like those nicely draped
Yes,
hijab.
equally
Yeah,
spaced.
exactly. Like it's crazy how much art goes into that. So like I noticed like who'd have done their own makeup would hire a stylist at the very least. Like they still look presentable. But yeah, like that's kind of I guess the range. This is for Malay weddings. I know for Chinese weddings it costs a little bit more because
They have a few changes.
yeah, one, they have a few changes,
The hairdo.
and two, the hairdo. So I know like some makeup artists for Chinese weddings would go upwards of 800 per event. Yeah. So
Yeah,
look at all the different makeup artists in your profile, and you can just select from there.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the wedding program. So, sometimes it can be elaborate, sometimes it's pretty simple. You come, bride and groom comes in, there's a bit of doa, and then there's food, and then we're done. Let's just go through it really quickly. What are like necessary stuff to have these days? An MC. Need?
Yes.
If you want,
Yeah.
if you have an uncle to do your
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We always have that one uncle who does all of our events.
Yeah. All the wedding.
Okay.
But it's nice to have someone who is, professionally
Yeah.
know that field of the program flow and whatnot. Like if something goes wrong, uncle wouldn't know how to, like handle the
Correct.
Yeah.
situation. But if you have someone like a professional MC to do that, they know how
It's
to
a lot
handle it.
smoother,
Yes,
right?
there you go.
Like and then in a moment of panic, like
Yeah, you'll
if
have
they
that
have to
calm.
announce something, a good MC would know how to do it like smoothly.
Okay. Wedding planners. Do we need them?
Yeah.
They're,
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yes.
they're super helpful, by the way.
Very helpful. Someone to, take your mind off everything else.
Yeah.
So they take care of everything. Okay. How about photographers and videographers?
Yeah,
Definitely.
that one has.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Any of us skipped on videographers or photographers by accident?
No.
I didn't have a videographer for my wedding. It was such a huge regret. Yeah, the aim was to save budget.
Yes.
I was hoping like a lot of people there, my aunties, my cousins, uncles, would actually take a video during my wedding. But yeah, those are the shaky video that we couldn't win.
True.
I had a
So, yeah.
client recently, just a couple of weeks ago, because one of the main questions that I always ask, like, who's your photographer, who's your videographer, just kind of want to see their content after the whole thing, so because we like to share and tag each other, and this one bride that I had, like, she didn't hire a photographer or videographer because her brothers do that as a hobby. Yeah. So,
Oh,
see,
so saving
exactly.
money.
If you have someone like Brunei is small, you definitely have a cousin somewhere who does it.
Yeah, true,
Wants to
true.
expand your portfolio, and I'm like, maybe ask him for a favor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true. If you know people, that's
Yeah.
great. I think for my pre-wedding, it was something we won, which is great. So that was a free photo shoot.
Oh.
And then for the what do you call it? This court signing, that was a free photo thing. But for the actual dinner, like a grand uncle had a photo studio.
Oh.
To kind of like ask a favor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Thank
that
you,
was good.
uncle.
Thank you. Always the uncles, right?
Yeah.
Always the nice uncles. Okay, so we've covered MC, we've covered wedding planners, videographer, photographer. What else do people need in a wedding that, or think they need in a wedding that they could do without?
I have one take. This is probably coming from someone who goes to a lot of weddings. My sister is a stylist as well, so we both go to a lot of weddings. End up being like hoarders of all these wedding favors.
Yes.
I'm like, do you really need them? Like, it's always my take. Like, you don't need wedding favors. Like, you just come to a wedding, just leave. Like, it's you come to grace someone's like event, right? But I feel like a lot of like people feel pressured to have like these like these fancy what do you call wedding favors in Brunei?
The gift card.
Campur, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's not a must actually, but people are spending more and more on it. Like you can save money by not giving, because like because even before I was a makeup artist, like my parents would just like hoard them. They're just like they'll just leave it in boxes.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in the storeroom. Like you don't need it.
But I feel like
Or thoughtful wedding favors.
Yeah.
Like it
Oh,
could
yeah.
be like food. I think there was a trend where people were giving out baras. Yeah,
Yes, that's
rice.
useful.
Or oil, something like that, or like brownies, like something edible. So not something you just
Yeah, right.
have to
If you have to
Put it in the
give
cabinet.
something that at the very least, like like people can maybe eat or cook with.
yes.
are there any wedding misconceptions, any wedding myths that brides and grooms follow? By hook or by crook, I must do these things. Is there anything that in particular?
Hello, Malay wedding. I think you have to have apa tu? That old lady that.
Sorry, who is this old lady?
Or someone with experience.
Okay.
Sometimes they're not old.
Take care of the bride.
Ah.
Yang macam bancai, like
Yeah.
to keep the bride calm. Apparently, that's what the myth is.
But
I
is this
think,
old
yeah.
lady part of the family?
No. Well,
It doesn't have to.
some yes, but a lot of times that I've like most weddings that I've seen, it's not part of the family. They're like some. I'm not sure if they're part of a community of Pengangun out there.
There is.
It's an Instagram page.
Oh wow.
But apparently now, alhamdulillah, in Brunei, you know how sebelum ni the pengantin has to be like
Oh, live there.
The pengantin, yeah, they live there and they do this kind of ritual yang macam yada yada.
Yes.
But now they have to be like Muib certified pengantin.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
That is good. Yes.
Oh wow. So there's like a certification that they have to like attain, like certified Pengangun.
Like that.
How do you know?
Just to make sure that they
So
don't
that not
have.
But how do you know
every
though?
auntie can be a pengantin.
Yeah, but how do you know though? Like, is it like, is there a list?
No, my certificate.
List,
But yeah, just so the ritual lah tu in the macam nada-nada lah. You know how the people, it's part of the culture, tradition, it's just
So that
amalan.
it's practiced right.
Yeah.
Amalan, they call it. Amalan orang tua kita dahulu gitu, yang
culture.
menganu
Yeah,
bana,
culture lah.
Yes.
meniup lilin lah.
Yeah.
It's just a culture, yeah.
I'm learning so much
Yeah.
from this one sitting.
Yeah, it's part of what we practice dari dulu, but just so it doesn't go bercanggah daripada agama kita.
Agama,
To
yeah.
uphold
Yeah.
traditions and
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, here's my certificate, pengantin certificate.
Wow, I didn't know they're certified.
Yeah, they must be.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna talk budgeting now. Money talk, serious business.
Okay.
So when it comes to weddings and when we're approaching our wedding, how do we budget? How do we, what do we spend money on? What don't we spend money on? What do we, what can we forgo? What do we save on? Perhaps Mylene Budget can tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I can talk. So for me, I think at the end of the day, the wedding is just like, it could be just one day or, just a small part of our life. So I would strongly advise against taking out a loan to have a wedding. I mean, because you don't want to start your like married life with a lot of debt, because for me, like you want to start your wedding life with no debt, and then so that okay, and then you have to talk jua with your future husband, macam after the wedding, who is going to like pay for what, who's responsible for what expenses, chato. So in my mind, if my husband is taking out a loan for the wedding, then that means there will be less money for him to spend on what he should be spending on as the head of the household. Yes. So for me, I prefer, if possible, it's don't take out a loan lah for the wedding. If boleh, you save up for it and then you stick within that budget. Yeah.
Have you ever encountered that? Brides and grooms taking out loans to pay for their weddings?
Before they actually come to us for consultation, usually ni yang belum take loan lah, because that's what we try to help the bride and groom with, so that they don't have to take the loan. So we actually, for our part, kami tanya what's the budget that they want to spend for their wedding. So that's how we masukkan what are the necessity first for their wedding that can complement dorang punya budget, that's within their budget. Then the extras itu kira bonus lah. Yeah, ataupun terbalikkan, what they need for their wedding, then we will help them figure out what the budget, the minimum at least budget that they need for dorang punya services atau the necessities. But that's the main thing that we try to help our brides and grooms with, supaya start their marriage life, their
Yeah.
wedding at least with no debt.
Now, continuing on the budgeting line, when should couples start saving? Should they start saving from the I will or yes, or should they start saving from before that?
I think I started saving as soon as I got a job. Okay, maybe it was not for the wedding. Actually, it was to buy a house. I was deposit for a house, actually, 50K. But then jodoh datang awal. So instead of buying a house,
You got a husband.
I got a husband.
You got a home.
Yes. So I think it doesn't hurt to start really early lah. As soon as you get a job, then start saving, so it can be used for future wedding.
And how about you, was your opinion on this topic of budgeting?
Like, if you're looking for a makeup artist, right? Like a dream makeup artist. Well, first you kind of reach out to them, ask for their rates. At the very least, from the get-go, you already know how much it's gonna cost. Like,
Yeah.
don't ask for their rates like this 1 or 2 months before your wedding. So at least you can prepare how much you're gonna budget for.
Yes.
Or if it's beyond what you initially budgeted for your wedding, do not discount the newer makeup artists. They would come at a lower cost because they're new. They're still trying to set up, but they're also fairly talented on their own. Don't just have in mind okay, this is my makeup artist and that's it. But if it's beyond your budget, look for other options. Okay. Or at the same time, there are quite a number of makeup artists that participates in a few wedding events. So for those ones, they would offer promotions for their rates. So don't always kind of know your way to hunt for good bargains.
Yeah, look out for those wedding
Yeah.
wedding events as
Yeah.
well.
Or
Hire a wedding planner.
Yes.
Just say, this is what I'm willing to spend. And then
Yeah.
see what we can do.
Yeah.
Or book you early, like a year early, and then they can do like
Budgeting.
installments.
Yeah.
Installments.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
well-
something that you accept?
Some people have paid me an installment, obviously, like towards the wedding, like
Yes.
not
After the wedding, no,
but
before.
like in general for me for nearly all makeup artists, I guess, like we always ask for deposits anyway
Yeah.
to secure the booking. Most for my case, most of the time it's always like two payments, so like the deposit and then the balance,
Final,
like closer to the date or on the date itself. But some people have asked like, can we split it up, like so that at least it's easier for them to pay, which is fine by me as long as you've deposited early already. So throughout how you want to pay through like in between, like that's up to you.
Yeah.
So earlier on, we touched on, when family members are contributing towards the wedding, they may or may not have a say in certain decisions. If we are not willing to accept their suggestions, how would you suggest we go about this situation? Do we politely decline? Do we, this is my wedding sort of situation? What do we do? How can we do this? Ina.
I really hope that I will not, like macam to mention names or anything because there are some situations yang it worked out, but ada jua yang indah.
Oh.
Yeah, so the brides and grooms had to like, okay, ikut saja. Macam tu. Because in the end, it's all about the blessing that we need from kita punya parents kan. To me,
Yes.
yeah. But that's how we try to go take the middle. Middle apa nah?
Middle road.
Middle road.
Yeah,
Middle solution.
Middle solution.
Okay. So there was a situation where they wanted the event, ia mau laki-laki di sebelah sini, bala bini-bini di sebelah sini. It's basically a separate. Indah mau mix. So even masa take photo pun Indah mau the bride to be seen by the men guests.
Okay.
So macam I really like that idea actually. Macam I don't know. They have their own reason why they don't want the bride to be seen by the male guest, kan? But then we suggested what could be done. We suggested MC for the flow, but it didn't turn out. It didn't turn out successful because the trend in Brunei is you bergambar mix lelaki perempuan. Yeah? The situation now in Brunei is like that. So it was difficult to shift. Taruhlah that kind of situation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. It's difficult to make everyone happy, itu for sure.
Yes.
But we try our best to cater supaya dorang dua ni dah kelahi lah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so just try to appease the situation. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Right. Let's get married.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we plan a wedding that is beautiful, that is stress-free, that everyone's happy? How do we do that? Why you always giggle? Yeah, how do we do that? How can we do a wedding that's affordable, that's stress-free, and that's, beautiful at the same time?
Spend within your budget.
Minimalist type of wedding kali ya. I see a lot of yang garden wedding so it's just like
Garden wedding mahal by the way.
small. Iya kah? I thought it's like
Banyak pakai daun.
Okay. I thought it's like small, macam 100 people ganyan.
There's a typical garden out there that's quite expensive.
Yeah, tapi spend within the budget. Garden
Okay.
wedding is very
Okay, even kalau it's just 100, 200 people cuma tu still.
Di mana garden you dulu?
Okay,
Backyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
expensive.
The backyard?
Yes,
Your own backyard.
I guess.
If you have a beautiful backyard, why not?
Yes.
I saw a wedding like at someone's backyard, and it's like the most beautiful backyard I've ever seen.
I think I have a uncle who specializes in like he can change maybe the look of the garden kali ya, cuma tu. Can put some props or whatever. If you have a good size garden lah. Maybe
kalau
not
garden-
everyone has.
Kalau garden yang dari raw, dari nada papa, then you make it into garden concept, is quite expensive sebenarnya. Because, you know, pakai a lot of elements. There are a lot of elements that you need to put. It's not just greens and pasu, bunga.
Just all green.
So yeah, as Mula said, if you have a very nice backyard yang ada sudah garden di sana and you just need to tweak a bit, tambah sikit elements, then it's good. If it's dari kosong, memang itulah, memang
okay.
quite.
So minimalist lah, maybe like minimalist, like just intimate macam, you know, family. You know, kadang-kadang at my wedding, I don't even know some of them, right? It's like usually
You
your
have like
parents.
1,000 guests.
Yeah, 1,000 guests.
I don't know 1,000 people.
Yeah, so it's mostly your parents' guests, bah. So yeah, it would be nice if we can have a small wedding where you know who it is, you know, it's your friend.
The cheapest wedding of all was during COVID. You know, di mahkamah syariah saja dan balik ke rumah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, I have a friend who had a wedding. They had a wedding in masjid. And then after that, they had a very small lunch at a restaurant. And this was because, you know, they still had started their jobs. They didn't have a lot of money. So they told the family that they will have a bigger Sunday next time.
Oh,
Which never happened.
Yeah.
It's never happened and they're happy. It's fine. So they really
that's
saved
good.
a lot of money with
Yeah.
just a simple wedding.
Yeah.
So that can also be done. It doesn't have to be this
Yeah.
big extravagant celebration. Like you said,
Yes.
spend within your means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then match your means to your wedding aspirations, I suppose.
And if you need to spend like, you know, a bigger budget or whatever, I would say like hire like the right people. Like really do your research. There's a lot of like, dare I say, like a lot of content on Reddit on like all the different vendors out there for weddings. Like do your proper research on like what goes like, you know, what goes behind it, or ask for testimonials from real people.
Yeah, so go
From
to
your
those who are reliable.
from your cousins, from your friends, like what's this vendor's about, like how professional was this one, so at least you know when you go into your wedding, you have peace of mind of those things are like going to be handled professionally.
So let's talk about clients now. Have you ever had any experiences with clients, whether from asking for pricing to them negotiating with you? Any experiences that you'd like to share with our podcast listeners or viewers? Like the do's and don'ts of approaching a vendor, for example.
We had to post the do's and don'ts online and the etiquette of how to ask questions, because a lot of times like whilst we do have our specific rates and everything, we need to know like where your wedding is going to be, because all that accounts to like how much the total would cost, or like we need to know like also the date from the get-go. Like we need to know what event you're inquiring for, because otherwise how are we going to give you a proper quote? We've legit received questions from people saying, price? No hi, no hello.
A hi would be nice.
Hello, like assalamualaikum. At the very least, like tell us your name, tell us when your wedding is gonna be and where it's gonna be and like what you're inquiring for. So at least we have a proper detail. And then even like quite a number of makeup artists and stylists also want to ask for where your venue is gonna be, because we need to know. Like some makeup artists have different rates at different locations, because depending on where they stay, like I guess there are like some makeup artists that I know who live in Tutong. They would have a different cost if they're doing makeup in Bandara and doing it. Some have a flat rate, but yeah, there are some who offer kind of like zonal areas, like different rates for zonal. So they need to know specific places. So if we ask for venue, don't say my home. We don't
Where
know.
is your home?
We don't know where your home is. Yeah, like please give us like, please one, say hello. Two, like give us full details of what you're inquiring for. And we don't mind asking if you're asking for negotiations, but please respect our rates at the same time, because I've had like when I first started as a makeup artist last time, I've had people like I think they were trying to justify my rate, and my rate wasn't even that much when I first started. It was like, you know, when I have my early like starting rate as a bridal makeup artist, like I think this person was trying to justify my price, so they asked me what kind of brand of makeup that I was using to kind of justify like why do you charge this amount. And I hear that from other makeup artists as well, and I'm like they were asking it mahal juga kenapa, and I'm like okay, like if it's mahal, please move on to someone else who's within your budget.
Yeah.
Don't criticize someone's rates. Like our rates are is very dear to us because we
It's how you value
yeah,
yourself.
it's how we value ourselves. And then to us, if that is the rate that we put, we feel that that is the rate that we earn for ourselves, right? So for you to come and say like, try to criticize or trying to like justify why our rate is a certain way, it's a little bit like a personal attack to us. So and then one of my biggest stones is like, if not communicating, when people there have been a few people who have like ghosted me after they saying like, oh, I'm gonna book you, and then I'm gonna deposit like in 2 weeks, or I'm gonna deposit at the end of the month, and then like just completely disappeared. But but the conversation before that, we would have conversation for like maybe even the whole year, like throughout the year, like going back and forth about rates, about the plans, about how we're gonna do this, which is fun. Like, but if you're gonna tell me you're booking me, even though there's no confirmed booking from myself, because I only take confirmed booking once the deposit is like put in. But if you tell me, like, okay, I'm going with you, I'm gonna place a deposit, this. If you change your mind, let me know. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just
Common courtesy.
it's just common courtesy.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes it's shocking to us, like, because Brunei is small. We know each other. We know how each other looks like, and we follow. And then us makeup artists, we're also
a small
a community in ourselves. So like we all follow each other. So if I suddenly see your face on another makeup artist profile, it kind of it's a slap in the face in my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what did I do? Like it makes me feel like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? So like it's
So jaga hati lah.
exactly. So if you decided to not go with me, by all means, just let me know. Like no harm done. Like I wouldn't be offended. Like
Or even
Yeah.
just, oh, that's a little bit above my budget.
yeah,
Thank you so
just
much for your time.
exactly.
Yeah.
So those are my do's.
How about for Wedding Loca? Any sort of situations that you've had with clients where you're just like,
There are some situations where the goes, yeah. But my advice to the brides and grooms would be, before you even book any services, get to read their policy, how the company works. Yeah, because that's how we bekerja sama. So the way we want to ease the pengantin punya journey in their wedding journey, we're also doing business. So it's the policy that we both need to sama-sama agree lah. The payment procedure, the cancellation procedure, and everything is in the policy. Should be in the policy. And if you're okay with that, then you proceed with the company, right? So, and it has to go with that policy until lah. But we also had our fair share yang customer yang go beyond that policy. You know, they kadang-kadang macam dorang cuba-cubalah ambil promotion yang ni, dan lepas tu nampak lagi promotion lagi murah, ambil yang nanti lah, cubalah minta refund. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. Macam tu. Pernah, Muaz?
Yeah. No, not because for me, I've highlighted because I actually give like a period where it can be refunded. So I give so to me it's very straightforward already. Like if you decided to cancel me after this period, then it's no longer refunded.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, everyone already accepts that.
Alhamdulillah. Ya, kadang-kadang ada klien yang cuba-cuba,
Yeah.
cuba-cuba nasib kan. But yeah, not all. Like not a lot. Adalah few macam tu.
But I think as long as you make it clear
Yeah.
from the beginning, like you mentioned, communication, very important. Make it clear from the beginning that these are our policies, and hopefully they understand.
Yeah.
Should
Sometimes
something happen.
sometimes it bears repeating. Like
You gotta repeat
yeah,
it.
because when they ask for my raise, I was like, everything is there, all my terms is there, and when they're gonna deposit, I repeat it again. Like not trying to be all up in your face, but like just in case you forgot, like these are my terms.
Just in case
Yeah.
you miss out some things.
Yeah, just in case, just a little reminder.
Yeah.
All right, so before we wrap up our discussion today, what are let's do two tips that you would like newlyweds to for take home from this podcast? 2 tips that you would share with them. We'll start with Ina.
Okay, get to know the company's policy, spend within your budget, and yeah, do your research. Don't settle with just one. Don't just settle with one. Do your surveys. Ya, puaskan hati lah. Puaskan hati when you get when you already reach out to a company, do your surveys and puaskan hati lah. Basically, tiga. Yeah.
I think for me is communication is really important, and it needs to be communicated early on before the wedding. What expenses are like maybe under parents or which one is under you, and then if what is the actual budget, and then if someone spends over the budget, atau kirakan ia yang belanja lah tu, so stuff like that. And then also communication with your spouse, macam after the wedding, how are you gonna split the expenses and all that. Yeah, I think those 2 lah.
Well, like you said, like good research goes a long way. So do your full thorough research on all the vendors you want to work with. And for makeup artists, if you're gonna hire a makeup artist, do not discount the new ones. Like don't just because like a profile only has like less than 1,000 followers, that does not mean they're not good. Just don't discount them.
All right. So
And one more.
yes.
Yes, one more. I think this is quite important when I deal with my clients as well. You deal with all the wedding necessity first and the wants later. So
True.
macam
Yes.
there are a lot of wants
Yeah.
that comes. Yeah,
But
but
do you really need the swans?
get the necessity macam yang makanan yang nyaman-nyaman dulu, the makanan, the photography videographer. If me kalau me it's a necessity lah to get a photographer videographer. So basically sort out the necessity first within the budget, then the rest goes hello. Yeah, like it's extras.
Yeah.
Bonus.
All right. So thank you so much to all of our guests, to Ina, to Najiba, and to Muaz for sharing your insights from the wedding industry with all of us here. And of course, to all of our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. So from our podcast today, we've covered how important it is to set a budget, to have clear communication, do your research, and remember, it is one of your most important days of your life, actually, and you want to enjoy it. You want to have fun. So try to have it as stress-free as possible. So thank you once again to our panelists, and we hope to see you in our next podcast. Don't forget, if you are planning a wedding, we have a wedding planner template in the description below. If you want to plan your wedding and see what you can do to budget and do your research, we're trying to help you along the way. So that's in our description. So thank you again for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.